Good morning, North America. Welcome to Church Talk TV. Lively talk about life, church, and church life. I'm your co-host, Dr. Bill Tenney-Britton, and I'm joined, as usual, by my co-host, Dr. Kris Tenney-Britton, and we're broadcasting from our studio in Columbia, Missouri, the heartland of America. Say good morning, Kris.
Good morning, and welcome to Church Talk TV.
Kris and Bill Tenney-Britton here today talking about the Discipleship Funnel. We talked last week about the third core process, the process of discipleship, helping people become disciples of Jesus Christ. And we talked about the tool, using a funnel to help people move into deeper levels of discipleship. But before I go there, probably ought to tell you what the core processes are in case you haven't been watching the last few episodes. The core processes are the processes that every church must have in place if they're going to become effective, faithful, and sustainable. And it starts with, you got to get people there. Now, I don't talk necessarily about your worship service, but you got to somehow invite people, invite them into a relationship, and of course, inviting them to church. But once you've got them there the first time, then you got to hang on to them. You have to retain them. You have to connect with them so that they hang out long enough so you can, third core process, disciple them. And once they're discipled, or as they're being discipled, the whole goal of discipleship is to send them back out to go and make disciples of Jesus Christ. And the process starts over because then they invite people, they connect them, they disciple them, they send them, and away we go. So we're talking about the discipleship funnel today.
So this discipleship funnel, again, this is a tool and a way of envisioning, a way of thinking. It's a way of saying, all right, here's a person who's pre-Christian, no longer Christian, not yet Christian, a baby Christian, or maybe they're just a Christian. And we want to say, how do we move them deeper and deeper spiritually and in living out their faith?
We developed this whole funnel metaphor because the reality is most churches don't really have a clue. They have no process, nothing set in stone, nothing even set on a scrap of paper to guide someone from someone who has no belief whatsoever to someone who is a fully devoted disciple, someone who's completely sold out. The reality is most churches are really excited if they can just people to walk down the aisle and say, I want to be a Christian. But then what? What's the next thing that we're asking them to do? What happens next if we get them there? Because what in Sunday school or what? And so often we just kind of leave our new Christian person out there to figure it out for themselves.
So it's not only, though, the people, the new Christian, the baby Christian, who don't know what to do. It's the church itself that really doesn't know what to do. We still, in so many of our churches, think along the lines of everybody should come to everything. We have programs all the time. We have ministries all the time. We have these events and Sunday school, and we're trying to get people into all of those without really thinking through.
And that's what the funnel's about. The big wide funnel. It starts up here, this wide funnel.
Wait, it doesn't start there, though. It really starts at connect, and with connect. People come, we're connecting with them, and we've talked, you can look a couple episodes back, and we talk about connecting, and where people come in, and they connect one-on-one, we're going to connect them with someone, and then two or more connecting, until they're really connecting more with the church, and that's where we get to the wide part of the funnel. We've moved from connecting with them now over here where they're ready to go deeper, if you will.
So the top part of the funnel is things like worship or events, things that a guest could reasonably come to and not be any more uncomfortable than they are coming into some sort of a church environment. But it's something that it's either lots of people, whatever. It's not like it's a one-on-one, come to Jesus kind of meeting. A lot of churches, they start with worship, and the next level, the next step in is their introduction to our church course, whatever they call it. Welcome to First Church course, and it's a 1 day or a 1 hour, or I was at a church where that was several weeks long. But in any event, it's where they come and they learn about the church. Now one church I know takes them from that place and invites them to get into an 18-week discipleship course. Some people jump into that and go, wow, that's great. Some people, not so much. They're more ready for something like Sunday school or a Bible study or a small group or a life group.
Okay, so let me interrupt you there because when we're talking about small groups and life groups, those are two very sort of options there.
Very different options.
Very different, yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, life groups are those places where people make relationships, right?
Life connections.
Life connections, right. And they're going to journey with one another for a while. Small groups, on the other hand, a small group ministry, really, you have small groups. They last for a certain amount of times, usually 6-8 weeks, maybe 12, and then you switch them out. They're more topical. Everybody, you may have at least two. You could have 200 small groups, but they work on this calendar where they all start at the same time and end on the same time. Or you may do half and half for newer people to have a place to get in there. But the option then in a small group ministry is at the end of that, 8-12 weeks, whatever it is you've decided on, at the end of that, the group closes or comes to a close and people get to switch to other groups, another topic, that same topic, whatever that may be. A life group, though, are those groups that go on and on and on. Where an 8-week group has said, we're gonna stay together.
So yeah, there's a difference between life groups and small groups, and we will do several episodes in time regarding those two because they're very important. But once you're designing your funnel and you're saying, well, this is the process, this is the path we want people to take, whether it's starting off with worship and moving into your welcome to our church and into either a Sunday school or a small group or or into a discipleship program, and you build this down, and what you can see once you have this funnel built, you can see what's missing. You can say, wow, we have these intellectual groups. A Sunday school is an intellectual group. A small group is an intellectual group. Life group, though, is a life group. It's more of a heart group. It's an emotionally charged and important event where people become they share life and they begin to really become more and more disciples. There's some accountability there. Yeah, but there has to be some next steps after that. Normally in most churches, and we strongly recommend this, that there's some sort of a mentoring program, an accountability program, that some sort of ministry that helps people get into one-on-one relationship or twos or threes on one, where they're sharing their life much more deeply and they're learning how to go deeper. And of course, you're teaching people how to do spiritual disciplines and all the rest as they go. That's all a part of this funnel. And you want to design this funnel so that you can say, if someone comes in our church and they have no experience in church whatsoever, they have no idea what a disciple of Jesus Christ is, they go from here, and this is what we expect them to do next, and next, and next. The key isn't that that you must follow this path,
right?
But it's a path that is suggested so that your new person doesn't go, what's next, and has no idea where to start next.
But I want to chime in here for a moment and say that it's not just for new Christians or new people, right? Yeah. I mean, this is for everybody. If you haven't thought about this within your church, be asking that question. Now, we're not saying your folks aren't already disciples, but we are saying they may not be. And it's been, again, if we haven't been thinking in these places, we've really
of how to move them down, right?
We really have. We've really shorted our people in the churches over the years, but here's the opportunity to help everyone get deeper. So, and you don't necessarily come into it at the top of that. You may be a long timer in church and you're going to be somewhere else in this funnel.
And the reality is sometimes people come in through a small group down here and they skip the top part. But here's the deal. The funnel is the answer to what's next. And there's always a what's next, because even down here at the bottom, there's always a what's next, because no one ever becomes a, if you will, perfectioned saint, regardless of what John Wesley seemed to imply, that you're not going to go on to perfection per se
in this life.
In this life. That's right. And so there's always more to do. Discipling doesn't end.
Well, we are out of time.
We are out of time. It's time for us to end.
Right. Yes. So we want to repeat an offer that we made to you last week. If you are ready to if you're ready to be serious about a discipleship program in your church, how you can be about building disciples, whether that's to go next level in your ministries or just to start ministry, we would love to have conversation with you. So if you will email us at this address, then
questions at churchtalk.tv.
If you will email us at this address, then we'd like to arrange a 15-minute consultation with you so we could talk about how we might be able to help you in your church.
All right, so we are out of time. Say goodbye, Kris.
Bye. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.